Welcome back, everybody, to the Huddle Up podcast presented by the Jeremy Hodge Auto Group and Cooper Paint and Striping. I think we have David. We might have David. I don't know where he went, but I know we have David. But we got a special guest tonight. Our good friend, now the tight ends coach at the University of Central Florida, Cooper Bassett. Coop, thanks for taking time to hang out with us tonight.
Oh, shoot, man. It's awesome to catch up with y'all and talk ball, and appreciate you guys having me on. You guys are supposed to save appearance like this for like people who actually, matter and opinions matter and all that type of stuff. So I appreciate you having just a good old boy from Tuttle on here, man.
Hey, no, it is awesome. We're trying to get Glidden back on here, but he'll be here. He's in and out.
It's that Mustang education, dude. He was born
Mustang
north of the Canadian River. That's
he's one of the lower percentiles in that 50th, in education. So maybe their school district but yeah, we always have some technical difficulties. Last week we had Brendan Presley on for a little bit talking ball and what he's doing with the St. Louis Rams and all that good stuff. St. Louis Rams. Look at me. Look how old I am. It's the Los Angeles Rams. I apologize. So, hey, there he is. Look, our special guest, David Glidden, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Yeah.
Surprise.
There he is.
I made it.
Yeah. So he had to make a guest appearance. He was, he's like, man, we got a big-time guest. I need to make my own special appearance. So,
I could not let DG? Cooper Bassett steal the show. That's for damn sure.
No.
Well, I don't know if you already did an intro here. Cooper Bassett, welcome to the show.
Appreciate that.
So, hey, we got to give him the love, the Pat McAfee.
The pride of Tuttle America.
Yeah.
The pride of Tuttle America. Former
right
player
on that water tower when you drive through Tuttle, it's Jason White Heisman Trophy, Blake Jarwin, Dallas Cowboy, Josh Henson, offensive coordinator at Purdue, and then somewhere there's like a lot more names, and somewhere
are you on like one of the stand, like down the ladder?
Yeah, I think it's written in like Sharpie. Maybe I don't think it's really put up there officially.
Here's what I know
on a water tower at least.
No, here's what I know for a fact. None of them are pumping iron like you to this day.
No.
That's for sure.
Hey, none of them look like you. That's for sure.
Mean,
all show, no go. Some of us got to cling
believe
on to just try and fool people that once upon a time we did something. That's all I'm doing. Trying to keep them excited.
Something.
I mean, you're literally a walking Nike mannequin.
Yeah.
Well, dude, hey, I brought the sleeveless hoodie look to practice at UCF.
Yeah.
That started at Utah State in 24. And then I carried it on at Oklahoma State in 25. And so anyways, I wasn't sure.
I almost used that as our promo too, by the way. That was the second. But I was like, all right, let me go with a little more formal. I don't want to scare people off.
Modest.
Yeah, let's go with But I almost used that picture.
No, hey, well, Coach Frost he busted my chops a little bit this morning. We got a new equipment head of equipment here at UCF, and he made a comment about so-and-so on staff. So-and-so says, oh, make sure we got plenty of sleeveless hoodies for our, for the egomaniac down the end. I said, oh, thanks, Coach. Appreciate that.
That's how you know he likes you. That's how you know, right?
Absolutely.
That's how you know. He as it started, you gaining any momentum? Got a little trend going? Anybody else jumped on the bandwagon with you? No sleeves?
I feel like now there's a handful of guys who go out there with the sleeveless with a T-shirt underneath. We did have a couple interns. We had a strength intern. One of our strength coaches, he's a big iron guy. He's out there sleeveless every day. So that's my brother. And then we've got a few other guys, and it's catching on little by little.
Love it, man. Yeah, somebody's got to start that. And I don't blame the other guys for wearing T-shirts under it, because if I was like, if I had to walk next to you, and no sleeves next to you. No. I'll steer clear. I'm just long sleeve, dry fit.
Our position groups are never going to come together and do work, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm going to keep my guys way here on the other side of the field, so I don't have to stand next to,
Well, hey,
position coach.
In this Florida humidity and all this sunshine, man, I got to soak up some vitamin D the best that I can when we go out there. So at least, it fits the climate that I'm in.
I love it, man. All right, so let's get to it, man, because I'm sure Drew introduced you when I was off trying to find my way in. I was in for a little bit. You guys just sounded, by the way, y'all sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks, so I had to reboot. But obviously, Coop, man, being the tight ends coach at UCF, you're down there in Mickey Mouse land, right?
Yep.
The world of Mickey Mouse. Before we get into football, how much time are you spending there? You got 3 little ones, man. I know you're spending some time at Disney World. What
He's
does
probably
that look
got free
like for the
passes,
fans?
man.
You guys
Well,
got passes. You got like a certain amount of money every month going to
Oh,
them.
yeah.
What's that look like, dude?
Well, yeah. So I will say, my wife, Sam, she needs to moonlight as a travel agent for Disney, because she's a pro now. So no lie, when we moved down here, we went to Disney whenever I was a GA at Mizzou. We played in the Citrus Bowl, and my wife and I, that was before kids, had a great time. And so we knew, we moved down here, and it's the transition, and we're only about 45 minutes away from the parks. And I was like, it's so damn expensive,
It
and
is.
we're Florida residents, so we get a discount. And there's
I
like
didn't know that.
5 tiers of passes, and we decided, okay, if we're going to do it, we're going to get this like second tier, and It's like, okay, well, we've got to go 4 times in a year to get your money's worth, right? Like, if on your 4th visit, it's going to essentially you're getting your money's worth. My wife has been 11 times with our boys. I've been 8. Not only that, all the viewers out there and you guys, you need to Google Disney rash, because I've gotten it. And that's, I thought I was like about to have
Disney
diabetes.
rash?
Right, we go out to Disney, and I think we're Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom's real spread out. Got like 17,000 steps in a day. It's hot. Animal Kingdom sells beer. So I had a good dad ratio of 1 bottle of water and 3 beers throughout the day to hydrate. And
Plenty of water and beer.
Next morning, my ankles are bright red, like all the way up to my calf. And I'm like, am I is this like pre-diabetes? Like, did I fall in a bed of chiggers? Like, what, like, am I getting eaten up by myself? Like, what's going on? I start Googling, trying to figure out what's going on. And a link pops up and says Disney rash. And it's like, if you go to a park and you're on your feet all day and it's hot and you're poorly hydrated, it's like all these blood vessels in your legs start bursting and it collects down your ankles. So
you didn't drink enough beer is what you're saying.
Yeah, it needs to be a 1-to-1 ratio, not a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I was going to steer clear of Googling Disney rash, because I was thinking in a different area of the body. You could go get that at football practice.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, all right, where's this going?
No question. Well, hey, I'm trying to keep this family friendly. Again, we're talking about Disney, but aside
people
thing,
need to know this.
Yeah, side thing, bragging on UCF. So this is a pretty cool deal. My kids are about to be 6, 4, and 1, so we're in that Disney age, right? So we also, Universal Studios is about 5 minutes closer to our campus and where we live. Our official visit this Saturday, like, we do all the things, everything everybody knows about official visit, and for about 5 hours we go down. They have free reign at Universal Studios. How about that? Like,
that's awesome.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
I don't have any more eligibility, but can I come take an official visit? I've never been to Disneyland.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
I think now with Sorsby and everybody, there's no rules anymore. So I think we could probably get another year of eligibility out of you.
That's great. Hey, and I was going to steer clear, but since you mentioned it, let's go ahead and let the cat out of the bag here and talk about that for a second. What do you guys think? And DG, I want to get your thoughts on it as well. But this whole Sorsby deal and what's going on with the NCAA and everything like that, and you can go into your thoughts, whatever you want, agree, disagree, whatever you guys think. But I would love to let just have your guys' thoughts on this whole situation.
All right, Drew, since you told me to go first, I'll go first, but I'm going to be very, very minimal here. And I don't know if you can hear my son crying in the background as soon as this started. He doesn't want me to talk about this. So I think that's what he's saying. But
neither does
first
Texas
things
Tech,
first, I do hope that if there's a real issue there with him and gambling could be a real issue with people, I hope that gets resolved, and I hope he gets the help he needs. I mean that genuinely, because that can be an issue. As far as what's happening with him in the NCAA and Texas Tech, and now coming out and backing him and doing all this stuff and saying all the things, I don't know. I've seen so many people, there's no rules anymore. You just hit on it. There's no rules. And so it kind of sucks from that aspect, like that dynamic of it. I thought he was going to go into the supplemental draft. That was like a fun topic.
Right.
I kept seeing on ESPN. Pat McAfee and those guys were talking about it for quite a while. Like, I'd never even heard of the supplemental draft. Like, what the hell is that?
Fun
And
fact:
I was like,
Bo Jackson went into the supplemental draft back in the day.
nice.
So,
that is a good fact. I had no idea. So
So,
I genuinely didn't know that was a real thing. So I thought that was going to happen for a while, and here we are now. Apparently, he's going to play college football again. So, what are my real thoughts on that? I don't know. Do I think it's right? Can't say I do, but especially when you look at some of the other penalties that have been cracked down on guys in the last couple of years for gambling. So I don't. Coop, I'll just let you take it from here, and I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, as an active member of the Big 12, I'm going to plead the fifth on this. I will say,
yes!
I do. What I will say is that from a former player's perspective, hats off to Joe McGuire for freaking going to absolute war and back for his guy and his player. You know,
Sure.
I do admire that. I got a lot of opinions on it, but you know, my opinions aren't going to move the needle one direction or the other. And since it's, hey man, as soon as you kind of have a strong opinion on something, life has a funny way. God has a great sense of humor of kind of bringing stuff to your doorstep too. So it's crazy. My big thing is we have such an incredible game. We have an incredible game. Outside of the bukus of money that's being made on it, it's a great game and it's a great setup and it's phenomenal. And I worry and I fear that, in the name of playoff and money, are we grasping at some really big gains right now and losing out on something in the future? That's the only thing that I worry about.
What a great point.
We'll figure it out. And like David said, anyone who has an issue, first and foremost, football, like y'all being players and coaches, football is a people's game. That's why I do it. And that's why we love it, is because of the people that are in it. So hopefully if he or anyone else is going through stuff, always hope that guys find the light at the end of the tunnel and find a way out of whatever darkness they're in. So,
yeah, no doubt. I'm with you on that topic of, everything has gotten, especially in the last 10 years with NIL, with transfer portal, with everything like that. I think, I don't want people to lose sight of the pureness of the game and why we ultimately love the sport. And so for me, I hope that, whatever toothpaste has gotten out of the, thing is, I know you can't put it all back in, but hopefully we can, put some more guardrails up to kind of figure out some things and try to make the game, I don't think it's going to go back to what it was, but trying to make it about the actual game and what goes on the field instead of all this stuff that's, out there. So that's kind of my thing. I probably could talk and have other opinions on it, but yeah, I'm with you on the whole, hey, let's get back to just playing football and figuring out what we need to do to keep that, the main thing.
for sure.
Because it's beautiful. Y'all both just said it. I was just sending Coop clips, like, I don't know, 2 days ago of plays or things that have happened, of just like beautiful football plays and the X's and O's and the things that people are doing within the game now. It's phenomenal. It's awesome.
Well, what David was doing was David was sending me plays of people running the play that he came up with. It was probably our most efficient play at Oklahoma State last year. Nice little toss to a wide receiver set up with either a G scheme or a GY counter play. So, he loves it. But it
was beautiful. It definitely did not start with me. I will tell you something. Sure. You keep trying to give me credit. That is not true.
Hey, I will tell you something, Coop, about Glid, and the more I've gotten to know him, the more humble this guy is, because I didn't know he was a Gatorade Player of the Year. I didn't know he was a team captain. I didn't know that there's some things.
Two-time team captain.
Yeah, two-time team captain. And there's things that he won't say, which is good, and I love that.
Mustang High School Hall of Famer.
Exactly. And so, even though they're, we'll never win a state championship, but that's okay. It's all right. So, but there's things that I'm finding out that I'm like, man, this guy's a legend. What this is his, I'm glad I hitched my wagon to DG, So
I'm about to leave. My wife made pizza in there a little bit ago. I'm gonna go grab a piece of pizza if y'all gonna keep talking about this.
So the best part is I was there on his official visit, and he shows up to Josh Cooper's house in Stillwater, and I'm like, we're recruiting this little shit. Like that's who we're bringing in here. This dude, he's not even tall enough to ride some of the rides down at Six Flags. And
at
sure
Disney
enough,
World where you're living now, I couldn't.
Only two-time captain in Mike Gundy era. So I mean, that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
and now you talk about Josh Cooper. Now he's my boss. Now he's
There
the head
you go.
coach at Cassidy Heights. Now that's my boss,
and
man.
a sponsor of the show. So
and Cooper paint striping right there, and not to mention he's also another Mustang Hall of Fame member, Sports Athletic Hall of Fame member there. So he's I tell him all the time. I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps. Mustang, Oklahoma State. Yeah. He made it. His stint in the NFL was actually like legit, not a cup of coffee.
Oh,
like
we didn't even talk about that.
Times.
I mean, DG's got a commercial with the Falcons. Like, I'm like, holy cow! Like,
no, he actually like suited up on real days and things. Like that was not a cup of coffee like that.
But hey,
I appreciate y'all's kind words. We are moving on now. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna get to this because Coop, man, we talked about you being at UCF. Mm-hmm. You're in Disney World land, like UCF. Man, 2017 national champion. What are we talking about? We won't go into all that. I'm just kidding. We're not going into all that. But with you, man, personally, for you, if little man's going crazy back there, I don't know if y'all can hear him. Past bedtime, man. It's past bedtime. No, but for you, I want to go back to the days of his age. Like for you, going way back, man. Yeah. Football started for you, Tuttle America. Where was it? What was it like? How did it lead up to you getting into the coaching world? Because I was honored to be a team member of yours. I rode with you to a bowl game, living in the next town over. I don't know if you remember that. Like I don't know how that all transpired, but you took me to a bowl game in my early years there at Oklahoma State, man. So to you, starting back in the early days to where you're at now, man, give us that kind of how it all played out for you in football, how it brought to this point in your life.
Yeah. So, I mean, probably like a lot of kids, I went out to football. I think my first year playing was in third grade. My dad was more of a baseball guy. We always watched football, but he wasn't pushed me into anything. I have two phenomenal parents, John and Vicky Bassett. The only reason I'm anything that I'm close to today is because of those two people. And, they never forced me into anything. So I went out to play football because all my best friends were playing football. I had no idea what was going on. I really wasn't like a super competitive kid. I was the prototypical gentle giant. I was just a big kid that's what I was. And, started to really enjoy it. I was an offensive lineman and defensive lineman as a kid because I was always too big and too heavy to carry the ball, right?
Stripe.
Yeah, no doubt. And so but I started really enjoying it. And again, being a big kid, like my size, I played baseball, I played basketball, and I enjoyed both of those. And you'd run track or you do whatever. You're out of recess, you play whatever sport was going, I wanted to be a part of it. But football was the one where, like, my God-given size gave me an advantage with everything. And just as time went on, just enjoyed it more and more. And then obviously being from Tuttle, Jason White goes and wins the Heisman Trophy, and just how impactful that is for a kid from Tuttle where your graduating class of 112 kids, Go
ahead, Drew. Show us, Drew. Go ahead.
No, dude, Whitey, he's the man. Whitey's the GOAT, dude. And so get into high school. The most impactful person in my life outside of my parents is Philip Coons, my head high school coach at Tuttle. Phenomenal coach, the Hall of Fame. And he was really the first person, like, again, I was always the big kid. Like, he pulled me. I practiced varsity as a freshman, and he saw something in me that I don't think anyone else really saw. Even in myself, I didn't really think. I thought maybe I'll play at UCO or maybe I'll do. I didn't ever thought Big 12 football was in my future, and the only reason it was because of him. And we go on. We won a state championship my sophomore year. That was a big, a point for me to just build confidence in the game, and was very, very fortunate, just blessed by God, just opportunities, and got recruited by a lot of big programs. And my dream was to be Oklahoma State Cowboy, and I got to go there. And same thing, like I unfortunately, you hear everybody, don't set limitations on what you can do. I think early on in my life, not in I guess it was a negative way. I just always I never envisioned anything outside of what was exposed to me. And so as a young high school kid like Oklahoma State, like, holy smokes, like I could only be so lucky for that to happen. And then I got to Oklahoma State, and it's like, well, you grew up in Oklahoma, and OU and OSU are everything. So the NFL is not even remotely a possibility. Like, I just want to be a contributing member on this team. And as my career went on, I've always tried getting the most out of people. I've always enjoyed the work and not necessarily trying to, get stats I got the most out of everybody. I played as much as I did because I could tell our D tackles where to line up, who's in the A gap, who's in the B gap.
Well, tell us, hey, let me stop you. Tell us the story to you, what you're talking about. You're tough. You love the work and the process. And on that note, you have a picture that used to be hanging up in your office.
Yep.
Was it with Markel Martin?
Markel Martin.
Give us a quick little tidbit of that, because to me, that embodies brotherhood, team of anywhere you're at, but definitely at Oklahoma State in those years. And the role you played was huge. And you played like you were a playmaker on the team and had a role. But that picture, tell a story about it.
Yeah. So in my office at Oklahoma State last year, I had this picture of me and Markel Martin celebrating in the Fiesta Bowl in 2011. And it was amazing. It's funny. I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about it right now. It was amazing that they had that picture and Chris Deal found it and put it in my office. So I was a tight end. I played as a freshman. I was our bigger blocking tight end. When we went 12 personnel. I played 10, 15 snaps a game, and then I played on special teams. Going into my sophomore year, we hire Dana Holgerson, air raid. We don't need blocking tight ends anymore. And again, God has blessed me every step of the way. Bill Young, who's our defensive coordinator, gave me my first offer in high school to play defensive end at Kansas. Well, now he's our D coordinator at Oklahoma State. So it's an easy switch. I just flip over from tight end to defensive end. Never played D tackle. We had no depth, so I had to play D tackle my sophomore year. I got my ass kicked in the Big 12 in 2010 all year long. I was 260 pounds playing. No lie, and I know this is a side note. We're playing Texas Tech, and we ended up beating them in Lubbock. It was the first time we'd beaten Techs in Lubbock since like 1947. It was a big win. No lie. I'm in there at 2I at 260 pounds. I think they checked inside zone to my side 3 plays in a row, and they just guard and center, lift my scrawny ass off the line of scrimmage and dump me, 5 yards downfield. So finally what I did is I laid down there. My ankle, so we could get, Shane Jark, our big 300-pound D tackle. So then going to my junior year, me and Rashedi Jones were the 2 field 5 techniques. Rashedi was a starter. He's a senior. He's a good player, really good player. And then I had a role. I was on the speed package and our goal line package and all of our sub packages. So I was very much a role player. And I love the work and I love getting the most. And so I'm a big vocal guy, an energy guy, and all those things. So we're playing flash forward. We're playing the Fiesta Bowl. Markel Martin's all Big 12 safety, best player in our defense, drafted by the Tennessee Titans. I believe we had thrown an interception or we had given up. Something happened in Andrew Luck and Stanford. We're driving down the field. And I apologize. We punted to them. They're coming out, but they had forced us to punt, and they had just really been stymieing our offense. And it's TV timeout. Markel comes up to me on the sideline. And just goes, Coop, we need your energy right now. And in the moment, I'm like, this is the best player on our defense. Like, why is he coming to me? Like, I'm not even on the field right now. Like, Rashedi's in right now. My ass is going to be on the sideline. But he's like, Coop, we need you, dude. We need you to pick us up right now. We need you. Let's go. And I was like, all right, yes, sir. And I just started being a crazy person like I am and slapping everybody on the back and on the head and trying to pump dudes up and let's go. And hitting our mantras and toughness and all these things. And, I get Markel going and they go on the field. And again, just God presents these little things to just reinvigorate our faith and just remind us that if we're faithful servants of him, what can happen? Markel Martin pops the ball out, recovers a fumble, comes straight to the sideline, and me and him are just hugging and going nuts. And we score the next play. it was just awesome. Anyways, it's just that was my career at Oklahoma State of you can be impactful and you can bring the most out of people with ever stepping foot on the field. And that's a testimony and a part of who I am as a coach today of reminding my guys that, like, I hope you score all the touchdowns you want. And I hope you go play in the NFL. And I hope you have the career you want. But if you don't, you can still have one heck of a time here, and you have gifts that you've been given. And what a shame if you don't use them. So that was very
what that does. No, that's perfect, man, because you embodied the full experience of that, and it's a huge deal, man. Because I looked at that picture in your office, and I was like, that's a cool picture. Yeah. Genuinely, like, I know it was in Fiesta Bowl. I was there with you, and I was on the sidelines. I did not play. I was not even suited out, and but I witnessed it, and I'm like, that's a great picture. We won the game, the whole thing. But then when I heard the background story, and I'm like, and then now again, I just hear you saying all that again, and I think you just gave more details that time than I got the first time standing in your office when you told it. And I don't know how many listeners we have. We may have 1, we may have 0, we may have 500. I don't know. But I know there's been a couple people that are coaches, young coaches, old coaches, that have told me they listen to our episodes. They go back and watch them sometimes, whatever that is. And to me, that whole thing that you just said of that moment, whether you're a player or you're a coach, there's 2 different sides to that, because now you were on both sides, and now you've been on both sides of it. As coaches, you try to get people – you try to get kids, you try to get the athletes to understand how important that is. Whatever your role is, you embrace it. And that was your role. You still had a role on the field in between the white lines when the whistle blew. But at the same time, you weren't on the field at that time, like you mentioned.
Don't allow your impact to be limited to the size of your role. You know what I mean? Like, that's –
there you go.
Yeah, and that's something. So
we just – walk off. Get out of here. Mic drop. We done.
Thank you to our sponsors.
No, but so
that's awesome. That's good stuff.
We just did the program here at UCF, and the program is a military-based training program, and it's phenomenal. They work with all different types of companies and athletes. And it's a leadership building training that goes through, I think 3 days. And we did here. It's awesome. And I've read their book. I highly recommend it to any coach, any leader, any parent, anyone in a leadership role to read it. In that they talk about, you have people who choose to lead. I have a player who's one of my best players in my room, and he's not a natural leader. He doesn't feel comfortable getting up and speaking. In being a rah-rah and doing all that stuff. That's fine. Whether you want to be a leader or not, you always have influence and you always have impact. And I think don't allow your role to limit the amount of impact and influence you can have around you, because it's contagious, negatively or positively, right? And that's something that, again, that's a gift that I think my 2 parents, my head football coach, my coach, Phil Coons, and God, just that's something that I've been very fortunate to always have. And I think that's why I'm in the position I am. It's not because I'm very smart. It's not because I'm of talent or anything like that. It's just I genuinely enjoy pouring into people and genuinely enjoy seeing people get the most out of people. Like, the most fun thing, recruiting a 4-star or 5-star, that's awesome. It gets everybody excited. Having great players is awesome. But and again, I know I like Glidden. Like, I give Glidden a hard time about it all the time. It is freaking badass that a dude who is 5'8".
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, maybe 5'8" fleets on, can do what you did. It's the personality you have right now on this podcast. That's the influence. Drew, you coach. You don't coach high school football for the love of it or for the love of money. You do it for the love of the kids and the impact. And you're doing this right now as a service. It's just, I think whenever you have that, what football gives us, it's being a part of a brotherhood, a community, a team.
Yep.
An opportunity is for us to help somebody become something more, do something bigger than themselves. And it's like, you don't have to limit that to a Friday night or a Saturday night.
And the connections that you make beyond the field is amazing. Yes. Whether you're a coach, player, whatever it is. And it's tremendous to see how things, come together and the relationships and the stories that you have because of this game is
No question.
unbelievable.
That's true, man. It's so true. It's so true. And I mean, you look at us three on here right now and the different connections of how we all are a part of this right now.
Right.
To get to this point, man, it's amazing. Yeah, football is a networking thing for sure, but the impact I got to say something, Coop, because you mentioned influence earlier,
Right.
and I learned this a long time ago, man. I know you were a part of this too in the Coaches versus Cancer,
Right.
Group of people that did things at Oklahoma State, and I know that's a thing that's kind of nationwide. I don't know if that's where that whole thing started. But I know we done that in Stillwater for a long time.
I think it was Jimmy V.
Is that where Coaches versus Cancer comes in?
Something like that. I think it was all, something that happened that I think coaches, they raise money for, stuff like that. I don't know exactly where it's, origin was, but I think it's
Taylor Brandt was a 4-year-old girl with cancer that I got paired up with, and Taylor Brandt was hanging out. Taylor Brandt in between classes would take study breaks in my office and come say hi. Last year, because she's a student. That's just it's
crazy,
it's
right? And so that's what I was going to say. Those type of things where the game brings you, because you mentioned influence, and I learned in that time period of working there at Oklahoma State in that group with the Coaches versus Cancer. Man, it was so cool. Influence is taken one of two ways. Influence does not happen, and it just happens right here. That is not. It's like you either get better or you get worse, right? Influence either is positive or it's negative,
right?
And so you have a choice of how you want that influence to be, especially as a coach, and then even as a teammate.
You can't turn it off.
Exactly.
To your point, like that's the thing is like their eyes are always on you, and whether you want to lead or not. That's fine. You don't have to lead the charge in that moment, but you're going to influence the people around you, whether you want to or not. They are feeding off of what you're putting out there.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. So I just had to make that note because you said that. I'm like, that took me back to a quote that I learned years and years ago, man, is like one of the best things you can have in this life is influence, but be careful because it only goes two ways. One is up and one is down. And so it's
so true.
It's
I mean, there's no middle ground to it, really. I mean, it is.
Pretty
You're
cool.
right.
Yeah, man. So talk to us, Coop, man. You're down there. You're living in Orlando, man. The first thing I want to know is how many stops you've made in your coaching career, and then to the point of where you're at now, living in Orlando. So 2-part question: how many stops, and then along that way, give me the thing that you've taken with you the most that is kind of your coaching style or what you base your coaching philosophy on, or whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah. Okay. So coaching background. So whenever I got done playing at Oklahoma State, I reached out to any coach that had recruited me or coached me or still had their contact, their cell phone number. And it's funny, at the time, 3 guys got back to me. Josh Henson, who was the offensive coordinator at Mizzou, and he's from Tuttle. I never played for him, but I played with his younger brother in high school, and he recruited me. Joe DeForest had just left Oklahoma State and it was at West Virginia. And then Todd Monken had just taken the head coaching job at Southern Miss, and he reached back out to me. And at the time at Oklahoma State, they didn't have any spots available. And I was super, super naive. If I would have known better, I would have understood like what this coaching path requires, like in the sacrifice and the grind. And I probably would have cast my net out even further and would have been ready to sleep on some couches and do all these crazy things. I didn't know. So anyways, Josh Henson got me a job as a recruiting graduate assistant at Mizzou. Didn't have to. He's phenomenal to help me out, and he gave me my start in coaching. So I was at Mizzou as a recruiting GA in 2013, and then I bumped up to the tight ends and O-line GA in 14 and 15 at Mizzou. In 2016, was a graduate assistant at the University of Maryland, and I worked just with offensive line. That's where I really took off diving into the offensive line. Under Walt Bell was the offensive coordinator. Walt was a quality control coach my freshman year at Oklahoma State, and had just seen him out at coaches convention and got his contact, and we played him that year and kept that connection going, and he got me on at Maryland. And then by that time I was 26 years old. You know, I was tired of doing the GA thing and living off a GA stipend and not recruiting and not running a room. And so I wanted to do that. I felt like that's what I needed to do. Personally, I think, you know, my initial path was kind of stunted in coaching because I went from being a defensive player to coaching offensive line and kind of going down that path. Well, none of the coaches that I had come up with at Oklahoma State saw me as a O-line guy, you know, and so I kind of had to – I was almost reinventing myself without realizing it at the time. So and God ultimately has a plan, and he knew a heck of a lot better than me. So anyways, I took a Division II job at West Texas A&M out in Canyon, Texas. I was there 17, 18, 19, 20. I was the O-line coach and then the run game coordinator and travel coordinator. If you really think you love coaching ball, go coach D2 or JUCO or D3 or NAIA. Staying in La Quinta Inns, busting to every trip, eating at Golden Corral, buying your gear at Walmart. Like, it's just like, if you love ball, go spend some time at the Deuce or lower. So anyways, was there for 4 years.
Deuce. I've never heard it called the Deuce.
The Deuce, dude.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Oh, yeah.
It makes
easy with that. That kind of looked like a horns up.
Yeah, I know. Well, now down here, that's like South Florida, so I got to make sure.
Oh, that's true. The Bull. Yeah, South Florida and
yeah. So
that's crazy.
So in 21, in the summer, got an opportunity to go to SEMO.
Sorry, I'm just calling it what it is.
There you
South
go.
Florida is in Tampa, Florida. That's crazy.
They're directionally challenged. Challenged. Yeah, no doubt. And so my wife and I, we moved to Southeast Missouri State. That was my first FCS job. Got there in July, was only there for the season. And then in January of 22, got hired at Sam Houston State as the O-line coach down there. Was there for a year. In 23, got hired at Utah State. Was there 23. And then in 24, I got promoted to co-offensive coordinator. And then our head coach got let go and was going to go down to Southern Miss with him. And Coach Gundy called me literally an hour and a half before I'm supposed to get on this private jet with Blake Anderson to go to Southern Miss. Gundy calls me, and I walk downstairs, and I'm like, sweetheart, like, we're going back home. We're going to Stillwater. My wife starts crying, and my boy's like, what's wrong? It's like, no, it's good tears. And I was at Oklahoma State last season, and then, you know, again, just ultimately the big thing through all this is just I have an incredible wife who has supported me through every decision, and God has blessed us every step of the way. And it's not always what we think we want or what we're anticipating. I never thought I'd ever live in Utah, and Utah is an unbelievable place to live. We loved it, absolutely loved it. And same thing, I never thought I'd be down here in Orlando, Florida, and just God just continues to bless us and open doors for us. So yeah, I mean, I would say this kind of Glidden, you know, talking, if there's any coaches out there who are young or are thinking about decisions or moving and all that, like, ball's ball wherever you're at. Doesn't matter what logo, what level, ball is ball. I think two things that have really helped us make decisions. I almost got out of coaching in 2019. I'm at West Texas A&M. I'm making $40,000 a year. All my buddies are buying trucks and houses and having babies and all these things. And I was essentially a grad student for 4 years after college, so I made no money. And then I take a D2 job making $40,000, and I'm, you know, almost 30 years old. I got not much to show for it. And I'm starting to think my wife, you know, is like, man, I really picked the wrong one, you know, here. And I'll never forget, I'm driving with my dad in Canyon, Texas. And I told him, I was like, hey, Dad, like, my dad worked at OG&E for 36 years and provided a great life for our family. And I was like, Dad, like, if I don't get a better job or something happening, like, probably get out of this coaching thing and, you know, whether it's try and find a job at OG&E or something. Like, I want to find something back home and get out of coaching because it's just not working. And my dad was like, Coop, you can do that. And he's like, but as soon as you close the door on a dream, it never opens back up. And he's like, I never chased a dream. This is my dad talking. He said, I never chased a dream a day in my life. He goes, my dream was providing for your mom and your brother and yourself. And he's like, you're chasing something special. He's like, don't close the door because you got the rest of your life to make money. And ended up getting offered an FCS job for a little more money, and I turned it down. And I got a little bit more responsibility at West Texas, and it worked out. And then a year later, we were at SEMO, and it kind of just took off from there. And that was a huge thing. And so for anyone if you love coaching, and I'm not saying that you got to, and I guess this bleeds into my next thing is like every decision my wife and I have made is because we have aligned our goals and we know exactly what they are. My goal is this: I want to. First and foremost, I want to make enough money where my wife can stay at home and raise our boys as long as she wants to do that. Secondly, I want to be around good people who allow me to be a good husband and father and not be tied to my desk every hour of the day. And then third, I want to be somewhere where I feel like we can compete for championships. And luckily, everywhere I've been around some really good people, and we have sacrificed so that Sam could stay at home, and we found ways. And then again, I married a very tough woman from McAlester, Oklahoma. And so it's those two things, I think, just not giving up whenever things got tough and just having a clear vision of what our goals are. Dave and I talked a lot last fall of just like what's most important. And I think if you always put your family, you put God, you put what you believe in most, everything's going to fall into place. It might not be right when you want it to, and you might have to eat a few more peanut butter and jellies than you want to, but you'll find a way to get it done. My first year at Mizzou, we made so little money. We didn't have my wife and then girlfriend and I, we didn't have enough money to turn the gas on in our apartment. So like when it got cold, we had one space heater, and we would crank up the oven and open it, and that's how we heated our apartment for a whole year in Mizzou. It's just find a way. You find a way.
Drew, the GA stories we hear on this thing are phenomenal. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Like a little clips.
I do feel for you.
Segments. Yeah,
we really could. Coop, I ain't trying to make fun of that. That's it's also what brought you to the point where you're at now. And you said like God has a plan, and it's crazy the struggle that happens in the coaching life. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to any of our other episodes, but we have some great GA stories, including what you just said. And yours was great. You just summed it up super quick right there, but that's phenomenal. And so many other people can share similar stories, I'm sure. Maybe not to that exact way of getting heat. But
hey, we had a story. Coach Dunn was on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about being in Idaho as a GA and having to kill his own food, and
Dude.
I'm like, man, that is crazy. Like
Coach Dunn's a hell of a lot tougher than I am, though. So that
all of us.
Dude. I was like,
his vacation, Coach gives him a week off, and he goes hunting on his own, kills whatever the hell he kills, an elk or a deer or something, and comes back. He skins the whole thing, and it's in his freezer, and that's what him and Janelle ate on for that season.
I'm like, man, that is wild.
Unfortunately, Sam, if that was our situation, we would have starved. So luckily,
I was gonna say peanut butter and jelly is a little different for some people, right?
Man, I'll stick with PB&J's. I would have had to. Yeah. You ain't gonna find me going to do that. So, Coach Coop knows Coach Dunn for sure too, man. So, man, that's crazy, but that's a hell of a story. And I got to say, man, you've done your path is incredible. And you talked about your goals. And you've mentioned your faith and things on here, man. Like, I know for a fact your faith and your goals align for sure. You mentioned your goals with your wife and everything, but I know one of my biggest respects for you is your ultimate goal is serving God and serving people, loving God and loving people for sure. And so I've always respected the hell out of you for that, man. I still do to this day, because I believe that's why you've also gotten to where you've gotten to and where you're at, man. It's no accident. And this dude, man, ball for sure. And so all those other things that you just mentioned, and on top of the fact that ball and you pour into your players like crazy, you've done too much, said way too many nice things about me on this thing. It's my turn to say something about you. Whatever school, whoever it is, maybe hopefully one day is Oklahoma State, who knows, for you and your point or your purpose or whatever it might be. But whenever somebody decides to make you their head coach, boy, they're going to be happy they do. That's for damn sure. I know that for a fact, man, because
Wow.
you are going to crush it as a head coach one day. And I know all the stops you've made to this point, the head coach you're under right now, the head coaches, the offensive coordinators, the other coaches you've been around to this day, I know will all impact you to that point because you're a sponge, man. Everywhere you've ever been, the knowledge you shared with me the last year, dude, I learned so much from you. So it's phenomenal, man. So I just got to say that any coaches out there, if you ever get a chance to hire this dude, man, and pay him the big bucks, do it because you will be in great shape.
Hey,
So
and vice versa. This guy ever becomes a head coach, send your resume in, man, because I'll tell you what, being able to be around this guy right here would be a special treat. So
Shoot, I appreciate you. I mean, no, it is. Coaching's no different than any other profession. The fact that I shouldn't say it. I think most high achieving professions where you can kind of climb the ladder, and it's not just given to you because you're so and so's son. I mean, obviously that happens in coaching, but it's just I am so grateful now, all the stops I've made, and hopefully now that my kids are starting to go to school age, like hopefully the moving settles down. My almost 6-year-old has already moved 6 times. So it's like, we need to slow it down. But it's such a blessing to be able to be around so many different people and see things done different ways. And like, that's one of the things on my interview here that I got. And again, just for any coaches out there, like whenever I interviewed, I've spent the last 9 seasons being an O-line coach. I'm interviewing for the tight ends job here at UCF. They want to start talking about route detail, and I'd hit up Glitto and like, hey man, you got any pointers for me and stuff. And I knew going into the interview, I wasn't going to stunt, knock their socks off with how I coach up a corner route or how I coach up a drag or how you stem and work releases. And also, like, they've already got an O-line coach here. So me talking about my philosophy on running gap tracks or zone tracks or how we ID the mic point, like, that doesn't matter either. Like, I needed to show that I was a capable teacher. The thing that I had going for me, though, I told him, I was like, whether this is I think this is there's a blessing there's a curse within every blessing, and there's a blessing with every curse. It's like, this will be my 10th year being a full-time assistant. This will be my 10th offensive coordinator, like, which is rough. But what that's done is not all by choice. Like, not some guys left or someone moved on, and sometimes I moved on. It wasn't all, I don't think it wasn't all that negative or bad. But I said that to say, like, if you want to call it 422, or you want to call it Izzo, or you want to call it bloody ride, or whatever you want to call inside zone to the right is, I've probably called it something similar. And if I haven't, I'm still pretty malleable and flexible to adapt and learn whatever. I don't care. And I think that sometimes people are like, oh, I'm having to learn. Yeah, you're getting an opportunity to learn new offense. You're getting an opportunity to learn new people. You're getting an opportunity to just expand your wealth of knowledge. And yeah, it stinks moving, and it's great building camaraderie, but especially as a young coach, like, get out there and experience as much as you can and learn from as many people as you can. And don't just think it's just that one way. Because I feel like I'm getting to the point, unfortunately, guys, we're to the point where we're no longer the young guys everywhere we go. Right?
Hey, you don't got to throw that out.
So like, for me, I'm no longer just the young guy on staff. And I've been around enough where it's like, there's been some staffs where I've been on where the older guy, he knows what he knows and he can coach it inside and out, but you change one little detail. Oh, well, I've been doing it this way for 20 years. Cool. Well, can you adjust a little bit more? And in your 21st year, can you coach it this way? I understand you've done it for 20 years. You're a professional. That 18-year-old, he doesn't know what you know for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
In just pulling from all those experiences, all the negative, it's amazing. All the negativity that we think we're going through in the moment, in the future, becomes all the lessons and wisdoms that we get to pull out in the players and coaches that are around. And,
sure.
Anyways,
you better be able to adapt and adjust.
No question.
That's what you do at halftime, right?
Adapt or die, dude. Adapt or die.
I mean, I was gonna say, that's life too. We talk about coaching, that's life, and the whole thing is you got to adapt and adjust, just like you had to do after COVID. I mean, in COVID, after COVID, it's life,
Yep.
it's coaching, adapt and adjust.
Well,
Man.
it's kind of funny that I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a pastor friend of mine and everything like that. But he's like, we look at things as pastors like New Testament, Old Testament. We also look at it as pre-COVID, post-COVID. I was like, yep, that is true. So
There's no
he goes,
question.
yeah, everything is, it's always, hey, what would we do pre-COVID? And it's like 9/11 too. It's like pre-9/11, post-9/11. And it's crazy how we look at things, from a different lens about pre-something and post-something.
And what the way things are looking right now for me, boys, is it's going to be pre-AI and post-AI.
No doubt.
What we're doing in the office right now, we've got some analysts that they are going nuts with stuff right now. Like, I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of busy work or just man hours that used to take to break down an opponent or create a playbook or create installs or whatever. That is literally, it's done while you're doing something else. It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I've seen things about it. I've actually, I've learned a little bit about it. I've had some experience with it in the last couple of months of touching on it and things like that, I guess you would say, or being a part of learning some of them and some things I've done. And it is crazy. Now, I haven't been involved with it like you and things you just mentioned right there, but I can only imagine, man.
Dude, we've got an app. So we've got an app, and you just put a speaker on, and the app can only hold about 2 hours worth of content, and it listens to you. But if you take an hour break, we essentially logged 40 hours worth of it just listening to us going through cut-ups, and it summarized it in a document for us.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
I'm just sitting back thinking of when I was a young coach and having to draw up scout team cards when I was in 2009, I think was my first full-time job as a high school coach. And I'm over here just drawing up cards nonstop, and I'm trying to get like the whole week's done so that I don't have to draw up scout cards anymore. And now it's just like, obviously when we went to like Huddle and all these other stuff, you can start printing them off and you can start using them. And then now it's like you could, put something in and it like spits something out for you.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
It does it for you for sure.
Yeah,
it for sure.
I'm
does.
like, man.
Yeah. You got Jay Rogers that just shouted out "Go Knights." He's probably loves to hear that.
Hey, charge on
in that.
Yeah, charge on. So that's something. Hey, so you Okies as a Okie, let me learn you something real quick. Yep. When someone says "Go Knights," the proper response is "Charge on."
All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Right on cue.
We'll practice. Go Knights.
Charge on.
There we go.
There you go.
Just like when somebody says, "Shall we?" What is your response supposed to be? Let's.
Okay.
You don't say "we shall." You say "let's." Shall we? Let's.
Okay.
Go Knights.
Charge on.
There we go. See? I mean, 1 + 1
we're
equals
good.
2.
We're rocking and rolling.
Hey, and if somebody says "boomer,"
yeah, you try and
look away and you just plug your ears.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, I keep Bedlam alive, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
That's what I'm doing by plugging my ears. I'm keeping Bedlam alive.
That's why it's not alive.
That's one of our goals. That's one of our missions on this podcast, man. We got to keep Bedlam alive. So
that's right.
There you go.
He's repping OU, rightfully so. They're going to the College World Series. They're heading to
Omaha.
Not
everybody can be perfect. It's okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, but I'll throw in. We got some poke stuff in here, man.
There you go.
We got the paddle over there. You know what I mean? We're still repping the pokes, and I know there was an epic game last night.
Is that Paynes Valley behind you?
It is, man. That's the 19th hole.
The 19th hole. Yeah, there you go.
And the reflection, you can probably see I got the Stanley Cup is on.
I was gonna say you got the hockey game on.
Yeah, of course. Just like last night. I actually did watch a little bit of the NBA Finals, so that's why I got to rep the Thunder still.
Because I was like, this is the most boring game in the world. I'm going to sleep, and then I wake up this morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, holy cow!
Hey, I tell you what, you got to be tough to be a sports fan on the East Coast. East Coast time zone is rough. It's rough. That game tipped off at 8:30.
When I grew up, my freshman year, after my freshman year of high school, we moved to Charleston, South Carolina from Sand Springs, and I thought I was going to hate it. And so I got used to being on the East Coast for a while. then went to college out there, stuff like that. But yeah, it is East Coast time is rough for sports fans. So.
Yes. Well, and I believe now Mountain Time's my favorite. I feel like West Coast is a little too late. Mountain Time, 10 o'clock in the fall, 10 a.m. in the mornings, whenever football games are going off. It's that one more hour back.
Yeah, my brother lives in Seattle, and he likes it because games are on at 9 o'clock in the morning for him. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think 10 a.m. would be 9 a.m. might be a little early for me on the football games kicking off. But I mean, to each their own. Depends what time you get up, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been pretty centralized my whole life with this time zone. I love it, but I'd coop that. That would have been a tough. It was already tough for me to stay up last night and finish that one. But the East Coast, that time zone, that's a little different for sure.
You got to be tough for it.
So a couple more quick things, and we'll let you go because it is East Coast time for you, and you're 10 o'clock and ready to go to bed and everything like that. But tell us how spring ball went, everything like that, and then kind of what everybody can look forward to see. What UCF and the Knights are going to be about coming this fall.
Yeah, no, shoot. It was a blast. Just getting out of my comfort zone again, being an O-line coach for the last 9 years and when you're in the O-line, you don't worry about signals, you don't worry about, what we're calling stuff, pass game. You live in your own little world. You're not worried about special teams. Whenever guys bitch about not getting enough Indy time, you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I got 30 minutes in Indy, like what are we talking about, And now it's like I'm the tight ends coach, so I've got to go to all special teams meetings, and I've got to make sure, we're in the skill meetings. We're having to do reps with tight end tackles, just all the things in my I go back to being a sophomore at Tuttle High School, starting my first high school game at tight end. And I took a little note index card, and this is how smart I am. I took a paper index card, and I wrote down every route that I had on our playbook on it, like what I did, and I shoved it in my jock. And I would pull it out on the sideline and look at it. And about halftime, that thing had just disintegrated into nothing. And the Oklahoma Heat, it just disintegrated in my jock. Yeah. But it's like there's so much from a tight end's perspective. And I have so much respect for the tight end coach I've been. DJ Tilavea, I think, is the best coach I've ever worked with. He was on our staff at Oklahoma State last year. Glidden knows this. He was at Utah State with me before then. Just elite tight end coaches like DJ Tilavea, they are gold because there's just so much stuff to be detail-oriented while still learning everything within an offense. It takes a lot. And why I was so lucky, we're returning two of the best players on our offense, in my opinion. I think on a lot of our coaches' opinions. Dylan Wade is a senior tight end. Dylan was set the record for catches, for receptions, targets, yards, and touchdowns for a tight end last year at UCF. Oklahoma State fans will know him because the first play out of halftime, they flooded the boundary FIB with 4 eligibles, ran a little cross with him railing down the sideline, and he took it for 75 yards to the house. Later in the game, they drove down for the second touchdown to tie it. They ran a delay mesh concept. D. Wade was sitting naked in the end zone. So, and then on the third touchdown drive we had him, I believe, in second and long or third and long, and he took just an OTB route over the middle and took it for like 30 that set him up for their final score to beat us. So I didn't know who he was. And when I got here, I was like, oh, that's the dude who kicked my ass. Awesome. All right. Great. So he's coming back in just super dynamic with the ball in his hand. An Orlando kid, went to Jones High School right down the road from our university. Then we've got a redshirt freshman, Caden Peening, who played in 4 games last year. He's 6'5.5", 250 pounds. I mean, he's your prototypical Y. I brought in Grayson Brousseau from Oklahoma State and Utah State. Grayson's put on some weight, and he is just that jack of all trades kid, highly competitive, highly intelligent. He's going to be able to play our F and our Y spot, does everything well. We've got a senior, Thomas Wadsworth, who is he's a culture guy, he's a glue guy, he's one of the better leaders on our team. He's from the Space Coast, like he's going to play a ton. We brought in Dylan Burke from Sam Houston. We're super lucky, and again, finding advantages and disadvantages. So we had a torn labrum at Sam Houston, and in the portal, like no one wanted a guy with a torn labrum, and he was coming off surgery. No one really pulled the trigger. We were able to get him late. The dude is Jack Reacher, like he's 6'7", 270.
Jack
legit,
Reacher.
Like bigger than me. Like makes me. It's fun. Everybody's like, Coop. Like he's a bigger version of you. It's like, holy smoke. So if I can't get him to do anything, they'll just fire my ass. And then we've got a true freshman, Brooks Hall from Missouri. Great kid, going to be a great player here. We've got another true freshman who just joined us, Sam Powell, converted Wildcat quarterback, which will be really fun to play with and see just his ball skills and in different things, athleticism, and put it. So anyways, needless to say, the only reason I was able to tread water this spring was because I have phenomenal kids who know the offense so well. And I caught up to them. They didn't catch up to me. And that was been huge. Offensively, man, like I think our GM, our personnel people are phenomenal. I think we brought in some great kids. Coach Grinch, our defense coordinator, Steve Cooper, our offensive coordinator, phenomenal leaders, human beings, play callers, and then Coach Frost. I mean, the dude is an absolute unit. Won a national championship as a player, got drafted in the third round as a safety, even though he's a quarterback. He's still, again, like I feel like I got to go lift a few more weights just to keep up with him because he saw and just the command and the leadership and the presence that he brings. Yeah, it's just awesome to be around. I told my wife, like, I honestly can't remember going home since I've gotten here angry or frustrated. There have been days where I've been stressed or overwhelmed because I want to perform and I want to do better. There hasn't been a single day where it's like this. This is tough. Not a single day. And
that's
again,
rare.
It's rare. It really is. Like I've talked with a lot of coaching friends, man, and we are very, very blessed to be here. We live like half a mile away from the stadium, so I walk to work most of the time. It's awesome.
The thing that stuck out to me about Scott Frost was what he said about him returning and coming back there. He said, and there's a quote from him is when you're climbing the ladder of success in life, sometimes they forget to tell you to stop when you're happy. And I was like, man, that is so true because I know the stuff that he went through at Nebraska and all this other stuff. But for somebody to see that and be able to reflect on that and the things that you were talking about earlier, it's okay to stop every once in a while and be thankful for, what you have and everything like that. And I thought that was so profound. And I that was something that when he got hired back there, I was like, man, that's awesome to be able to reflect back on your career and still be able to say, you know what, I've had some bumps along the way, but it's all worked out to where I am now. So,
dude, that's the mark of a great leader to be able to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guys that can have a clear enough vision to see that, recognize that, take a step back, and then obviously now do what he's doing now because I'm going to trust Coop's word for sure, man. My time with you, my friendship with you, to say those things about somebody and say those things about a leader, that says a lot. So to that quote, I agree, Drew, man. I saw that same thing. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And to hear Coop saying those things now about working for a guy like that says a lot, man. So that's awesome. I'm happy for you to hear that you're in that situation, man. I love it.
No, we live it, man. We all want to compete and achieve and at a high level, and we're going to compete for championships here. To do that, like you can do it with a smile on your face. It doesn't have to be helmet on 4th and 1 every second of every day. There are going to be moments like that, and we need some times where we got to tighten that chin strap up and ready to go to war. Like there's no question in what we do and how Coach Frost runs this organization. Like everybody knows when it's time to go, and it's just the level of competitiveness that he brings and how we want to compete. And I think one of the cool things, so Glitto, I think what I really appreciate, and not to go, take this any longer than it needs to, but blocking on the perimeter. Okay. When I got here, he asked me like, okay, we're running a bubble screen and you're the number 2 receiver and we're running a bubble to number 3. Talk to me about how you're going to approach blocking the nickel. And I kind of, okay, well, we're going to eat up space, and when he triggers, I trigger, and but I want to have grounded feet and a balanced stance, blah blah blah, saying all these things. He goes, yeah, we don't coach it that way. And I was just kind of in my interview like,
I didn't get this one.
And he just very firm feet, clean coaching is we attack on the run, we block with staggered feet, we never have flat feet. When you sit in the chair, you get knocked on your ass. We're always attacking, making plays, attacking a stagger. And so a big thing that we have is coaching boys long stride, short stride. So everything you do, long stride, you're running. Short stride, you're closing the distance. You're still gaining ground with a stagger. You're not sitting in a chair with flat feet. And so it's long stride, short stride, attack on the run, and strike on the run. And that is a little thing, but for football guys, like his whole mindset, that goes the same with tackling, blocking, route running. Like everything is attack and everything is don't be afraid to go make a play. And if they beat us, they beat us, but they're not going to beat us with us sitting on our ass or us sitting in a chair ready to catch. We don't catch anything. Like we do everything by attacking and striking and running through things. And it's like that bleeds into everything. And there's a freeness about it, of all right, like we're not playing this thing not to lose. We're playing this thing to win. Like we're gonna line this. We have all of our new guys, coaches included. I had to do this. Go up in front of the room. You don't know when you're going to get picked. You're randomly picked, and you're going to say your name and where you're from and how old you are, all those things. And then
signing bonus.
You have to present a talent. You either have to sing or tell a joke or juggle.
There you go, yeah.
Do something. And the crowd is either going to clap you and you're good, or they're going to boo you and you're going to have to do it again some other day because you didn't do it well enough.
Wow.
And the whole thought is like, you need to be able to stand up whenever it's your time. When you're called on, stand your ass up and go perform, and don't be afraid of it. What are they going to do? They're going to boo you. You got to do it again. No big deal. And there's so many things like that in this program that just it makes it fun and exciting to be a part of.
Did you get booed?
Doing this all the time.
Coop, did you get booed?
I told a great joke. I don't think it's huddle up audience approved, but I did get a lot of laughs, and I did get an ovation. So
love it.
All right. Well, maybe you have to tell us that joke off the air, but yeah, interested to see what the claps were for. So
no doubt.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff.
No, we're excited. I'm excited. I to see what you guys are going to do this fall and everything like that. And no, it's been a good time. We've been going for an hour and 7 minutes now. I know you're probably tired. You're ready to get home and get
East
some
Coast.
sleep. And, East Coast, man. I know. Disney.
I'm looking at my
OV
time.
number 2 tomorrow, Glidden. We got OV tomorrow. Get ready to roll, baby.
So your veins are popping out right there. I can see.
Look, yeah, he's getting ready. It's 4th and 1, guys. It's 4th and 1. So.
That's awesome. Well, Coop, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you, man, taking your time, dropping the knowledge and the nuggets and your path, everything that you've experienced to this point, man, just coming on, sharing all that with us. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, your friendship, man, being your teammate, being on staff with you. You've shared some things along the way with me that I will keep with me forever. Hell, some of the things you just mentioned right there, I'm taking for sure too one day. But seriously, man, this was a blast. Thanks for taking the time. Glad you're happy, loving it. I know you're crushing it. I know your players are loving it. I know the people down in UCF are gonna love you if they don't already. And I know they are very, very fortunate to have you, man. That's for damn sure. I mean,
my favorite Big 12 team right now.
I was going to say, Drew, we do play in Stillwater. We'll play in Stillwater. I'll get you some night gear to show up.
Give me some night gear. Go Knights.
No doubt.
Go Knights.
No, I appreciate you guys. And shoot, man, keep this thing going and keep momentum rolling.
Hey, we definitely need a part 2.
I
gotta
will
come
look
for a
forward
part
to
two.
we'll do a bowl season edition. How about
There
that?
we
We'll do
go.
a bowl
Yes.
season.
Go.
We get you and DJ both on here. What do you think,
No
man? You mentioned
question.
Coach.
We got
You
it.
mentioned DJ.
Hey,
gotta get
come on.
DJ
Hey,
on.
hey, you can get Coach Frost on here. He can drop some more quotes for us. You know, we get the whole staff. You know, and check it. You
Sounds
know,
good.
yeah, you got a big enough tight end room. We could probably do them all on
No
one.
question.
You know?
No question.
So, you know what I'm saying? But hey, guys, you know, for the Huddle Up podcast and our sponsors, Cooper Paint, Striping, and Sealing, Jeremy Hodge Auto Group. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And we will be back with another episode next week. Shout out to my Oklahoma Sooners in the College World Series. Again, Cooper Bassett, our special guest tonight. Thank you so much for joining. And then our co-host, DG, David Glidden. We'll see you guys again next time.
Thanks.